Mr. Frost, would you like to be recognized? Oh, Ms. Tlaib, I apologize.
That's okay, Mr.
Gentlewoman's
Chair.
recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Greenbelt, thank you so much for being here. I want to ask you about PACE, which I think is, what does it stand for? Pandemic Analytics Center of Excellence?
Yes.
What is it?
It is a data analytics center that we have on the pandemic side. So this deals with PPP loans and.
So you seed out fraud?
I'm sorry.
To look at fraud?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
In over 4 years, with the $40 million investment from Congress, the PACE provided investigative support for more than 40 federal law enforcement and OIG partners, of course, on more than, 875 pandemic-related investigations?
Yeah, it's a huge number, yes.
Yeah, 19,000 subjects, estimated fraud loss of, $2.1 billion? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So, Mr. Greenbelt, why is PACE only for pandemic-related?
That's the $64,000 question. We would love
Yeah.
to expand that
That's what I want.
and implement that government-wide at SIGI. And then we can not only look at money that has gone out the door, but
Yes.
we can look at on a preventative basis and give information to the agencies in advance.
So applying PACE to all the various federal programs across the board would result in the same kind of findings of fraud and be able to try to save money for the American people?
Yeah, and more than that, I think it would be preventative. What the numbers you were sharing before were solely after the money's gone out the door.
Yeah.
We would like to establish such a data hub to prevent those bad dollars going out the door.
The one question so how does PACE, though, how does it share data and information with agencies and states and local government in ways that protect sensitive information, like folks' Social Security numbers and personal ID information?
Yeah, we're very conscious of PII, Social Security numbers and things along those lines. But that's, so for example, if the PACE had been in existence in 2020, it could have taken the Social Security numbers that the Small Business Administration was going to give loans to, PPP loans, back in 2020. And running those numbers, it found 70,000 Social Security numbers that were questionable. And it could have sent those to the Social Security the Small Business Administration in a secure fashion to identify more than $5.4 billion.
Is that because of identity theft?
It could have been identity theft. It's possible. It could be dead people. It could be identity theft.
Sure.
It could be a whole wide variety of different issues. But yes, identity theft would be.
I know our ranking member on this committee has a bill to basically, isn't it like expiring or something? Is that correct?
That's right. The
PACE program,
the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee, the PRAC, which houses the PACE, is supposed to expire at the end of 2020, fiscal year 2025. Which means the PACE would evaporate. And so we are trying to extend it and keep the PACE.
Mr. Greenbelt, give me an example of what PACE found. I know it's details, but just if I was to go back to my district and say, hey, guess what, PACE is great, we should continue it, look what it found.
Oh, it's looking at everything from unemployment insurance to, like I said, the PPP loans. It's looking at federal employees who are getting PPP loans, even though they were gainfully employed with the federal government.
How about members of Congress?
I don't know the answer to that.
No, some of them did get it.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, actually.
But PACE would look at that, right?
Theoretically, it could. I don't know if they have. That's a good question.
You probably should.
Yeah. Possibly. I'm going to demur on that.
No, I mean, fraud is rampant. It's not just, obviously in the public sector, but even in the private sector. And just to do data analytics like this and to use the technology we have now to kind of have better oversight, I mean, that could save, like I said, it saves billions.
Absolutely. One of the things we found we did at the Department of the Interior, we looked at the federal employees who were also getting, I'm talking about at the department, who were also getting PPP loans, presumably inappropriately. And we found that the vast majority of them were identity theft. They were not actually the employees.
That's what we found in unemployment in Michigan, a lot of identity theft.
The potential for fraud in those programs is enormous. And what we could do with the data center would be, I think, comparably enormous to prevent that fraud. And with a very small investment of cash, relatively speaking, we're talking about pennies. And if we talk about the expired funds, which I raised at the very beginning,
Yeah.
unobligated expired funds, from the IGs going to say, we could fund this very quickly. I think this is a game changer, an absolute game changer for the oversight community.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Greenbelt. I yield, Mr. Chair.
Gentlewoman yields back her time. I would like to ask, I'm giving myself unanimous consent, but would ask unanimous consent to enter to the record a letter to President Biden signed by Chairman Comer asking for President Biden to fill vacant IG positions. This letter describes how positions such as the Treasury have been vacant for over 1,000 days under the Biden administration. So with that objection, we'll enter that into the record. Mr. Frost, you're recognized.
Thank you so